So, blogs is something I get asked about a lot. Are they still relevant? Do people still read them? And the thing I love about blog posts are that the content is dynamic, and so it's topical. It gives Google the opportunity to find something new on your site. So let's start with Matt. What's the difference between static content and dynamic content?
So your static content are the pages on your site that kind of remain there. So, like your About Us page, you have like your landing pages, which are often your kind of core pages. This is where people get to and they kind of inquire through these pages, and it's like your product pages, service pages. And then around these pages, you have the dynamic content. These are pages that are often kind of not replaced, but you often kind of have like new ones regularly. So you'll have regular new blogs, but your static page will always be the same. So this dynamic content is basically there to back up your static content. So you can have blogs, if you are doing SEO, for example, you can have your SEO kind of service page, which lists everything you do. Maybe that's pricing on it, inquire, and this will stay the same mostly. There might be a few tweaks here and there. But around this, you have your dynamic content. So you have blogs. You might put a new blog on kind of every few days. So chances are the blog you put on a few weeks ago might not be getting read as much anymore unless it's ranking well. But these are there to kind of back up your service page. So you'll be linking to your service page from these blogs. And these are all about providing context, providing more information to the user. Again, answering the questions that they might have. What is SEO? Things like that. Yeah, so dynamic content is really important just to keep things fresh on the site, and just build the authority by providing more and more kind of information for the user and for Google to see. So yeah, it's really important to have both, to have a kind of mix of both, and to have them working together as well, to have your dynamic content linking to your static content, making sure it's all kind of intertwined, thing like that. So it's having them both working together is exactly what you need.
I think that what you said, the context is really important, isn't it? It's like sometimes there's only so many times you can use your main keyword on a website. I use the example with estate agents quite a lot. Like, there's only so many times you can say estate agent London, estate agent Twickenham, estate agent Beverley on your website. And if there are lots of estate agents in the area, Google can only show, the first 10 of those like on page one. So when you add in that dynamic content, you're giving more context to Google to kind of say, right, well, actually, you can show this site for the search term estate agent London, because what we're talking about in the dynamic content here is Ofsted reports for that area. We're talking about places to eat and drink in that area. We're adding transport infrastructure, what trains come, how close it is to the motorway, all that kind of stuff. So Google ultimately understands the bigger picture then that it's an estate agent website, because you're adding all of that. The key again though here is that you're adding great information to the user as well, because somebody looking at an estate agent website probably wants to know how easy it is to get there, what the schools are like, and that kind of stuff. So it ticks a lot of boxes, right, on that basis.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's the stuff that you don't want a load of information on a lot of your static pages. You don't want them to be kind of clogged up with this content. And like I say, it's a really good example. Yeah, those are all things that are really kind of important to know if you are looking for a house somewhere. But if you were kind of looking on this landing page and it was 10,000 words long and there was all this stuff about all this, you'd probably think it was a bit too much. So yeah, having it elsewhere and being able to kind of build it around this static page is key. So yeah, it's important stuff, definitely, and it's really useful.
And you mentioned authority there as well, which is, I think, again, useful from a business perspective and also a Google perspective, is that you're basically speaking with the authority when you're using that dynamic content. It enables you to speak a little bit more, kind of candidly, a bit more maybe kind of colloquially, in basically adding some extra bits that enable you to demonstrate your expertise at a greater level. Again, you might not want to squeeze all of that onto one static page, but having the ability to write a series of articles, or a set of 5 different articles that kind of back up the main kind of static pages or whatever, just having that there. And also, just worth throwing in here that it also gives you social media content, which you can publicize all of that stuff on your socials, and then your socials linking back. What part does that play with Google search when social signals and Google being able to spot your brand is a factor, right? It's a big one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the more exposure you can get with things like that, if Google can see you're active on all these social media platforms and that people are coming to your site from there as well. If you have this blog up that is getting lots of views and things like that, then that's going to really help build the authority, because it knows that users are finding it useful and they're liking what they're seeing. They're going there, they're spending time on the page, they're reading through it. And also, you can have someone maybe who's thinking of moving to a certain place and maybe they're pregnant or they have a young child. So the thing they might Google is, what are the schools like in this area? If they do that, stumble onto your blog, find the way to the static page from there. It's a good way to get a kind of inquiry there. So yeah, it's really important. Having people coming in from all angles to these pages is exactly what you want, because the page might rank, like you say. You're not going to get tons and tons of keywords from this one static page. So you have to find different avenues to get people there, and providing kind of social posts, the blogs that you're linking on your socials and stuff like that. Having this all-round approach is a really, really good way to do that. Yeah. So it can be really valuable, just getting people on your site, getting them interacting. Google sees all that stuff, and it's a positive sign to Google that your site is legit and is good and is useful, and and that's what it wants basically. So it's definitely a good way to go.